All righty, brothers and sisters. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you at. This is Israel, the Lord's Vineyard, and we are back again with another Bible Studies Live. All righty, brothers and sisters. Hold up. Where you at? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you at. This is Israel, the Lord's Vineyard. We are back again with another Bible Studies Live. Well, as usual, we're going to open up with the laws, and then we can come back and we can get into the meat of the matter. So, sis, when you're ready, I am ready.
And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Revelation 22, 13 to 15. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Ecclesiastes 12, 13 and 14. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Alrighty, brothers and sisters, as always, these are the laws we read when we come together on the platform to do a lesson, a Bible lesson. Brothers and sisters, these laws are commanded for us to keep, and they are not done away with. Don't let no one try to convince you that you don't have to keep these laws. Anyone that is doing so, they are trying to rob you of your salvation, brothers and sisters. We always encourage the brothers and sisters, don't allow anyone to steal your crown. With that being said, happy Sabbath, happy Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. Please, brothers and sisters, please like and share, and don't forget to subscribe. Like and share the live, that it can get out. And don't forget, again, to subscribe. Well, you know we teach by subject and title, and the title of today's lesson is The Jewish Dilemma. Let me see. First of all, brothers and sisters, fair use, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research purposes. So, some of the contents that we are using, we do not own the rights to them. Again, we do not own the rights to them. Okay? That being said, again, the title of today's lesson is The Jewish Dilemma, Part 1. Well, as usual, brothers and sisters, what I do, sometimes I'm listening to YouTube channels and, I will hear people talking about things, and sometimes this is where I get my lessons from. I get my lessons according to what I go through to the week. I see or hear, and I will get an idea, and then I will put a lesson together. Sometimes is what people say, and I know it's not correct according to the biblical text. So then I will put a lesson together to try to correct these. I don't know if it's willful or mistake that they make according to the Jewish text, but that's what I will do. I will come up with a lesson, put the lesson together, and try to bring clarification of those lessons or the teaching or the views that I hear people come up with. Well, this one will be, I want you all to listen to a short video in a little bit, and it's about the Jewish people that is calling themselves the Jews, the people of the land. And we had this man, Dr. Brown. So we're gonna listen to a short video, not right now, soon. And we're gonna hear some of the things he said. It's short clips, and we're gonna go through the scriptures and try to see if we can get some headway of it. Okay. So number one, this is the Mishnah. The Mishnah is a book of the Jewish people. They have the Mishnah, they have the Talmud, and these are their writings. Just like we have the Arab nation, they have the Quran, and then they will have the books outside of the Quran, like the Hadiths, that explains the writings of the Quran. That was written by their prophets. You know what I mean? So it's the same way we have the Mishnah, and part of the book that is outside, that is the Jewish people write up, to explain the book and the writings. So this is one of them, the Mishnah, and it's talking about the sons of Noah. So let's see what it says, brothers and sisters. Let's see what it says, more focusing on the children of Israel, right? So sis, can you see it? If you can, we can go ahead and start.
The bright spot in a German appears as dull white, and the dull white spot in an Ethiopian appears as bright white. Rabbi Ishmael says, the children of Israel, may I be atonement for them, are like boxwood, neither black nor white, but of an intermediate shade. Rabbi Akiva says, painters have materials with which they portray figures in black, in white, and in an intermediate shade. Let therefore a paint of an intermediate shade be brought and applied around the outside of the niga, and it will then appear as on skin of intermediate shade. Rabbi Judah says, in determining the colors of negium, the law is to be lenient and not stringent. Let therefore the negium of the German be inspected.
So we're seeing that the rabbis, explaining or identifying the children of Israel, they say that they neither black nor white, but they are like boxwood, right? So we're going to show you what boxwood look like in a little bit. Finish reading this, sis.
On the color of his own body, so that the law is lenient, and let that of the Ethiopian be inspected, as if it were on the intermediate shade, so that the law is also lenient. The sages say both are to be treated as if the niga was on the intermediate shade.
The niga, or is actually the niggers, right? Is on the intermediate shade. The niggers. Some, we're in the book of Acts, it states Niger, but it's a Niger. but it's the same word that they're calling us today, niggers, right, brothers and sisters? So let's see what the color of box would look like. It says neither black nor white, but intermediate. These are describing the color of the children of Israel. Boxwood is brown, brothers and sisters. You see here? That's why the children of Israel is referred to as you hear that? They're not Africans. They're not black according to the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. They're referred to as the Negroes. The Africans are referred to as black. The Japhites are referred to as white. And the children of Israel are referred to as Negroes or niggers or Niger or Niger. In the book of Acts chapter 13 verse 1, it was talking about Simeon as opposed to his color, and it says Niger, but it's Niger. And it says a black man, a black man. So boxwood is dark brown, brothers and sisters. That's what the rabbis said that the children of Israel look like, the color. So we know that there was not white people, right? We know that they were not Africans. They were the Negroes or the niggers that people is calling them today, niggers. Let's move on forward. So we see that this is not stated by us, that is stated by those people who are saying that they are the children of Israel. We did not write that, right? But the thing is, brothers and sisters, when it comes to the Bible, we are very intelligent people. A lot of people is very intelligent until it comes to the Bible. Then when it comes to the Bible, it seems like all intelligence, all common sense flies out the window. And for the life of me, I can't fan of it. Why is that? Why is that we are so intelligent until it comes to the Bible? When it comes to the Bible, what we try to spookerize the Bible. And some of the things that we say don't make any sense, brothers and sisters, because we're trying to spookerize it. Then when you corner them, you ask them questions, then they will come down, it's a mystery. What you mean it's a mystery? The Bible tells you the word of God is simple, is simplicity. It's not hard. It's because we are trying to twist it and turn it and spookerize it. That's why it don't make sense when it comes out. We turn off our brains and put on our emotions when it comes to the Bible. So most people, when they talk out of their emotions. They refuse to hear or refuse to see what the Bible says because they don't want to accept it. Let's go to the this video. Let me change so we can see it. So can you see the video, sis?
Yes.
Okay.
It looks like it's muted too. You have to unmute it.
Yeah, I muted it so I can get it plain clear.
If you say that today's Jews are not really Jews, or the Jews that Hitler slaughtered are not really Jews, that's anti-Semitic. That's not just false, that's anti-Semitic. If you say blacks are Israelites, that's not anti-Semitic, but it's false. If you say today's Jews are not really Jews, that is both anti-Semitic, it is a lie, and it is a destructive lie. All right? So we make those distinctions. When it comes to, if you say that today's Jews...
So we're listening to Dr. Brown here, right? And he's saying, if you say that today's Jews are not the Jews, that is anti-Semitic. This is their way of trying to scare us out of the truth, brothers and sisters. They will come up with these things, and if you're saying that they are not the Jews, they are imposters, they try to call you anti-Semitic. Brothers and sisters, remember, we just talk about the color of the children of Israel. They are boxwood, they are Negroes, and these people are not Negroes. So how can we, being the original people of the land, the people of the land, be anti-Semitic? How can we be anti-ourselves? We are the children of Israel. The people that made it over here during the transatlantic slave trade, they are the children of Israel because they are the one that was taken out of their land, brothers and sisters. These newly come Jewish people from 1948 who is claiming to be the Jews of the land, they were never in the bellies of slave ship. They were not dispersed in the four corners of the earth. And according to the Bible text and the Bible scriptures, the children of Israel were dispersed through the four corners of the earth. And the Bible cannot be broken. The prophecy cannot be broken. It says what it says, brothers and sisters. And we're going to show you later on in the lesson, it might be in part 2, that these people actually owns a lot of the slave ships that brought the children of Israel in captivity. So we want you to keep your mind on this, focus on these things, and we want you to listen. Again, get out of your emotions, get out of what you've been taught, open up your mind that you can receive, brothers and sisters. He says, if we're saying that the children of the people today are not Jewish, that is anti-Semitic. Okay, let's go back. Here. What you're seeing on the screen, sis?
Bridges is winding up.
In the revised and updated edition of our answer statement.
Okay, you see with the Bible, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the revised and updated edition of our answer statement of blood, so this came out in 2019, I expanded this section, among other sections. There's a chapter called Lies, Lies, Lies. And here's the lie that I dealt with in this chapter. Today's Jews are not really Jews. They are actually members of the Khazaric kingdom who converted to Judaism. Further variations on this notion include the belief that the original Israelites were all black. All right, so this is a lie that I refute in the book at some length.
So it is not a lie, brothers and sisters. It is not a lie. Right? So he is saying again,
revised and updated edition of our answer statement of blood. So this came out in 2019. I expanded this section, among other sections. There's a chapter called Lies, Lies, Lies. And here's the lie that I dealt with in this chapter. Today's Jews are not really Jews. They're actually members of the Khazaric kingdom who converted to Judaism. Further variations on this notion include the belief that the original Israelites were all black. All right, so this is a lie that I refute in the book.
So let's go back to the lesson. We're going to talk about that. What do you see in Exodus?
Yes.
Okay. So the gentleman said that, you know, if you're saying that the black Jews today are from Khazarian, you know, descent, and it's all a lie. No, it's not a lie, brothers and sisters. The Jews today, the majority of the Jews today are Ashkenazi Jews. And Ashkenaz, they try to hide this, brothers and sisters. Ashkenaz is one of the descendants of Japheth. Ashkenaz is one of the descendants of Japheth. They are not the descendants of Shem, because from Shem is where Abraham come from. And the children of Israel came out of Abraham's seed, brothers and sisters. So these people are of Japhetic lineage. They are Slavic people. Russian, Turkey, they are Slavic people. They are not from the children of Israel. So it is not a lie. It is the truth that they are from the Japhetic line or Khazarian Jews. And they're trying to hide this so bad. But brothers and sisters, nothing is hidden from us. Everything is right there at the tip of your finger. All you have to do is search for it. They don't hide nothing from us. It's right there. It's public knowledge. Let's go to the book of Exodus. Exodus chapter 1. And we're going to read from verse 6 to verse 15. Exodus chapter 1, we're going to read from verse 6 to verse 15. Brothers and sisters, we're going to read the NLT version. Again, the reason why we read the NLT sometimes is because it speaks simple English, that people don't get confused still, because the KJV speaks in Old English. A lot of people, when they read the King James Version, a lot of people put down the book, they say, man, it's hard to understand. So we read the one that is simple English. We go back. So go ahead, sis, when you're ready.
In time, Joseph and all of his brothers died, ending that entire generation. But their descendants, the Israelites, had many children and grandchildren. In fact, they multiplied so greatly that they became extremely powerful and filled the land. Eventually, a new king came to power in Egypt who knew nothing about Joseph or what he had done. He said to his people, "Look, the people of Israel now outnumber us and are stronger than we are. We must make a plan to keep them from growing even more. If we don't, and if war breaks out, they will join our enemies and fight against us. Then they will escape from the country." So the Egyptians made the Israelites their slaves. They appointed brutal slave drivers over them, hoping to wear them down with crushing labor. They forced them to build the cities of Pithom and Ramesses as supply centers for the king. But the more the Egyptians oppressed them, the more the Israelites multiplied and spread, and the more alarmed the Egyptians became. So the Egyptians worked the people of Israel without mercy. They made their lives bitter, forcing them to mix mortar and make bricks and do all the work in the fields. They were ruthless in all their demands. Then Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, gave this order to the Hebrew midwives, Shiphrah and Puah.
So, brothers and sisters, the children of Israel, according to the biblical text, were in Egypt for over 400 years in slavery. They were there for 430 years, but 30 of those years, the first 30 years was not bondage. When Pharaoh died, the one that Joseph was intermingled with, when he died, the new Pharaoh come up, his son, and he is the one that put this bondage on the children of Israel. If those people were white people, brothers and sisters, of the Japhet line, do you think that these people could have stayed in bondage or be in Egypt, in a hot country, in a hard bondage for over 400 years? In no way on this God's green earth that could have happened and these people survived. It could not have happened, brothers and sisters. Again, remember I tell you, put your emotions aside. Let's deal with common sense. These people could not have survived 400 years of slavery, hard slavery, under Pharaoh's iron claws or iron fists. They would have been extinct. They would have been extinct. So in one point, I am actually glad that they weren't, because they would not have been here, brothers and sisters. They would not have been here. They would have been extinct. They would have died out. There were melanated people that was in Egypt that was under slavery for 400 years. Melanated people, not white people. There's no history book that you can pick up and read that white people was in slavery under black people for over 400 years. You can't find that in no history book, brothers and sisters. Africa is a hot, hot place, brothers and sisters. Let's go and see something. Israel's skin cancer rate, second highest in the world. That is now, brothers and sisters. The skin cancer rate is the second highest in the world. The skin cancer rate in Israel is among the highest in the world. The Israel Cancer Association reports yesterday, at the end of 2000, there were 3,631 skin cancer patients in Israel. Around 200 died every year from the disease. You know why that is happening, brothers and sisters? Because they're not of that land, that region. They're not of that land, that region. These Japhetic people are from Europe. They're not from over there, the Middle East. That's the reason why this is happening. So we know that they could not have been in Egypt for 400 years in slavery. Melanoma and skin cancer. Skin cancer, including melanoma and non-melanoma skin cancer, represents the most common type of malignancy in the Caucasian population. The incident rate of melanoma is increasing worldwide, while associated mortality is slightly decreasing. The primary risk factor for malignant melanoma, which is very relevant to the Israeli, whether is uncontrolled exposure to ultraviolet radiation. This results in the fact that skin cancer, listen, brothers and sisters, skin cancer rate in Israel is among the highest in the world. Do you hear that, brothers and sisters? The skin cancer in Israel is among the highest in the world. Currently at the TAU and the affiliates medical center, there are several world-leading scientific groups in search for various strategies to diagnose and cure the disease. Again, brothers and sisters, they could not have been the people of that land. They can't be the people of that land. And they could not have been the people, again, in Egypt for 400 years in slavery. They would have been extinct. Israel has two annual LGBTQ parade in Tel Aviv, the Pride and Jerusalem Open House of Pride and Tolerance. Tel Aviv Pride, a week-long series of events that takes place in the second week of June. The highlight is the parade, which is Asia's largest LGBTQ parade and attracts over 250,000 people. The 2024 parade will start on Thursday, June 6th at the Tel Aviv Herbert Samuel Boardwalk. And the Pride Festival will take place on Friday, June 7th at Genia Yeshua Park. However, the 2024 parade was canceled due to the hostage situation and will be replaced by a rally. Brothers and sisters, one of the reasons why the children of Israel is not in Jerusalem or is not in the home is for sinning against God, sinning against the Creator. The Most High took down a whole city, Sodom and Gomorrah, took it down, burned it down to the ground. Ashes, brothers and sisters, for this very same reason. And now The people who are in the land, who say that they're of the land, and you want to tell me this is what is going on in the land, brothers and sisters? This is what's going on in the land? Pride Parade takes place in Jerusalem since the first march of parade and tolerance in 2002. Jerusalem Pride, Love Without Border, has become an established event in Jerusalem. Tel Aviv usually has one of the largest pride parades in the world. But this year is absolutely different. This year, you notice a modified pride flag with a large yellow stripe. Because what is going on right now, brothers and sisters, the war, so that's probably why they couldn't have it. But brothers and sisters, what is this doing in the promised land? What is this doing in God's land? What is this kind of behavior doing in that land? If these people are supposed to be the people of the land. That's the reason why Israel was expelled from the land in the first place. What we are going through, brothers and sisters, is not nobody's fault but ours. Why? Because God gave us a directive to keep his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. And it's for this reason why we got expelled from the land, for breaking God's laws, statutes, and commandments, and refusing to do what he says. So I personally, I am not blaming no one but Israel. The scattered ones. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, brothers and sisters. Deuteronomy chapter 4. Sis, when you get it, I'm ready when you're ready. We're going to start at verse 26. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 26.
All right. Today, I call on heaven and earth as witnesses against you. If you break my covenant, you will quickly disappear from the land you are crossing the Jordan to occupy. You will live there only a short time, then you will be utterly destroyed. For the Lord will scatter you among the nations, where only a few of you will survive. There, in a foreign land, you will worship idols made from wood and stone, gods that neither see nor hear, nor eat nor smell. But from there, you will search again for the Lord your God, and if you search for him with all your heart and soul, you will find him. In the distant future, when you are suffering all these things, you will finally return to the Lord your God and listen to what he tells you. For the Lord your God is a merciful God. He will not abandon you or destroy you or forget the solemn covenant he made with your ancestors.
So God did not give anyone authority to go back into the land, brothers and sisters. Israel is kicked out the land, and the scriptures in Matthew 24, it says God himself will gather Israel from the four corners of the earth and take them back into the land. So these people that moved in there in 1948 and said that they returned, how can you return to some place that you were never at the first place, brothers and sisters? You cannot return to somewhere that you were never at. So after the Balfour Declaration in 1948, these so-called people, Jews, move into the land and say that Israel is born. But God says, if you disobey my laws, my statutes, and my commandment in the land, you will be short-lived in the land. So what is going on there right now, brothers and sisters, upside down? You think that they would have been winning this war today if they were actually the people of the land? No, they would not have been winning this war, because this war would have been against them for what they're doing in the land, brothers and sisters. It would have been against them, and they will be destroyed. They will be taken from the land, just like all of the previous times when the children of Israel were taken from the land. There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing, brothers and sisters. But in fact, the scriptures talked about Japheth will dwell in the tents of Shem. They will be living there because they have to be there to fulfill the prophecy of the Bible. But they're not the children of Israel. They're the children of Japheth. Let's move on. Remember, we were scattered, brothers and sisters. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 28. And we're going to read 32, 35 to 38, 41, 43 to 46, 48, and 63 to 68. Follow, brothers and sisters.
You will watch as your sons and daughters are taken away as slaves. Your heart will break for them, but you won't be able to help them. The Lord will cover your knees and legs with incurable boils. In fact, you will be covered from head to foot. The Lord will exile you and your king to a nation unknown to you and your ancestors. There in exile, you will worship gods of wood and stone. You will become an object of horror, ridicule, and mockery among all the nations to which the Lord sends you.
And brothers and sisters, I want you to take note of this. The same guy, not only him, but many Jewish rabbis, when they're trying to defend that they are, all you got to do is go on YouTube, pull up Jewish rabbis and defending Israel. When they're trying to defend Israel, you know what the majority of them will tell you? They will try to use that we are not the children of Israel because we don't know how to speak Hebrew. We don't know how to speak the native language. We don't know our heritage. And they're saying that they never lost their language, they never lost their custom, they never lost their heritage. But brothers and sisters, according to the biblical text, Israel will lose that. Why? Because if they go into captivity, they will be subject to their slave masters. And when they're having children after children and after children in captivity, of course, these new children coming up, they're going to lose their heritage. They're going to lose their language because now you're in a foreign land speaking another language. So if they're saying that they never lost their language, that means they do not fit the prophecies of the Bible. They don't fit the prophecy. Because the prophecy says you will go into another world with the language of the people you don't understand, and you will be speaking a different language. Your children that is born after you, they're going to come up speaking that language, and you're going to lose your original language. It's just common sense, brothers and sisters. It's just common sense. You don't need the Bible for this. Go ahead, sis.
38. You will plant much but harvest little, for locusts will eat your crops. You will have sons and daughters, but you will lose them, but they will be led away into captivity.
This is slavery, brothers and sisters. Now you tell me, who are the nations them that went into slavery in the four corners, brothers and sisters? It is the Negroid people. These people never went into slavery. They had no children that went across the world into captivity. The book has nothing to do with them as far as they being the people, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
The foreigners living among you will become stronger and stronger while you become weaker and weaker. They will lend money to you, but you will not lend to them. They will be the head and you will be the tail. If you refuse to listen to the Lord your God and to obey the commands and decrees he has given you, all these curses will pursue and overtake you until you are destroyed. These horrors will serve as a sign and warning among you and your descendants forever.
So, brothers and sisters, do you know what is a sign? Something that identifies. And he said, these will be on your children forever as a sign. So when you see that this is happening, what is happening? What we are reading, that the foreigners living among you will be stronger than you. You will become the weaker. They will be above, you will be below, they will be the head, you will be the tail. These things are a sign to say, well, when you see this is happening in any land, any country, any city, any state, any town, you will say, those are the children of Israel. Look at what they're going through. But these people, brothers and sisters, what are they going through? Nothing. These people own the world. They own the money. They own the bank. They own Hollywood. They own the media. They're the one that's paying the basketball players. They're the one that's paying the sports industry. America is funding money into Israel every year. Millions of dollars. They own it, brothers and sisters. Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. The children of Israel is the complete and total opposite of what this people is. Complete and total opposite. Common sense, brothers and sisters. Go ahead, sis.
If you do not serve the Lord your God with joy and enthusiasm for the abundant benefits you have received, you will serve your enemies whom the Lord will send against you. You will be left hungry, thirsty, naked, and lacking in everything. The Lord will put an iron yoke on your neck, oppressing you harshly until he has destroyed you.
Where is this happening to these people, brothers and sisters? Iron yoke. You know what is that? That is slavery. That is when they put them chains on our neck, them rings, and they put things that you can't get away. They put bells on us that if we try to run, it would make noise. Which history book that we ever pick up and read and see these people in slavery, in chains, in dungeons? This is not happening. The only thing that these people can come up with, brothers and sisters, is the so-called Holocaust. That's the only thing that they can come up with, is the Holocaust. But according to the Bible, they will be scattered throughout the world. So why is it that that's the only thing that they can invent to say that they went through? What happened to the children of Israel? What happened to their Holocaust? What happened to the millions of them that was scattered throughout the world? What happened to the millions of them that was killed, hung, beheaded, castrated, hanging from trees like strange fruits? What happened to their Holocaust? So when people talk about that, what are we supposed to call them? Anti-what? Anti-nobody? Since you all are anti the Jews or anti-Semitic, then what are we? Anti-what? African or anti-nobody? Go ahead, sis.
63. Just as the Lord has found great pleasure in causing you to prosper and multiply, the Lord will find pleasure in destroying you. You will be torn from the land you are about to enter and occupy. For the Lord will scatter you among all the nations from one end of the earth to the other. There you will worship foreign gods that neither you nor your ancestors have known, gods made of wood and stone.
And remember, these people say they never lost their heritage. So does this fit them, brothers and sisters? No, it does not fit them. God is saying what will happen to them. He will scatter them among all nations from one end of the earth unto the other, and they will serve foreign gods. These people say that they never lost their heritage. They never lost their language. They never lost their custom. So how can this be them? How can this be talking about them? Are we serious, brothers and sisters? How can this be talking about them? Go ahead, sis.
There among those nations you will find no peace or place to rest, and the Lord will cause your heart to tremble. your eyesight to fail, and your soul to despair. Your life will constantly hang in the balance. You will live night and day in fear, unsure if you will survive. In the morning, you will say, if only it were night, and in the evening, you will say, if only it were morning, for you will be terrified by the awful horrors you see around you. Then the Lord will send you back to Egypt in ships, to a destination I promised you will never see again. There you will offer to sell yourselves to your enemies as slaves, but no one will buy you.
And this is another thing that they try to distort, to say, hey, the Bible says no one will buy us. For real? No one will be there to save you. They can't buy you out of what you're going through, because the Lord already tell you he's going to take you into slavery. He already said that. So how can verse 68 is going totally against what he already said? If he said that he's going to send us into slavery, why do you mean nobody going to buy us? We've been on auction blocks, brothers and sisters, all around the world. We've been on auction blocks. Like cars, like livestock. So what is it saying? Egypt in the Bible is associated with bondage, slavery. That's what Egypt is associated with, brothers and sisters. So he's going to take you into slavery with ships. Because he already said we will not return where? Into Egypt, the physical Egypt. But when we come over here in slavery, this is a spiritual Egypt. This is Egypt for us. Why? Because we were taken from our land. Everywhere that we were placed, brothers and sisters, that's our Egypt. Because that's one of the first places that we were in slavery for over 400 years. So every island, state that we go to, brothers and sisters, that's our Egypt. This is not complicated. We can't distort the scriptures to satisfy y'all, what y'all trying to come up with. It said we are going to be dispersed in the four corners of the earth. When were you dispersed in the four corners of the earth? What slave ship did you use to get dispersed in the four corners of the earth? Did you fly? Did you run? Did you walk? What slave ship did you come on? Let's go into the book of Jeremiah. Chapter 50. We're going to read verse 6 to 8 and 33. When you get it, I'm ready when you're ready.
My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have led them astray and turned them loose in the mountains. They have lost their way and can't remember how to get back to the sheepfold. All who found them devoured them. Their enemies said, we did nothing wrong in attacking them, for they sinned against the Lord, their true place of rest and the hope of their ancestors. But now flee from Babylon, leave the land of the Babylonians, like male goats at the head of the flock, lead my people home again. (33) O land of arrogance, you will stumble and fall, and no one will raise you up. For I will light a fire in the cities of Babylon that will burn up everything around them.
33.
I just read 33.
Oh, you read 32.
Oh. This is what the Lord of Heaven's army says. The people of Israel and Judah have been wronged. Their captors hold them and refuse to let them go.
So, brothers and sisters, who this is happening to? This happened to the real children of Israel, the Negroes, the boxwood of the colors. Not the whites. It didn't happen to them, brothers and sisters. It happened to the boxwood. It didn't happen to the Africans because the African did not go into slavery. As a matter of fact, the African people was catching the Israelites, the Israel, and selling them to the whites. That's what they were doing. Israel were the one dispersed. The one who was calling themselves the Jews. Why? They live in the land of Israel. Why they don't call themselves the Israelites? Y'all ever notice that, brother and sister? Why they don't call themselves the Israelites? If you meet any one of them and you ask them, what tribe are you from? All of them, ever since you're watching all YouTube, people asking them, and they say they're from the tribe of Judah. So it have 12 tribes. So why every time you ask one of them what tribe you're from, why all of them say Judah? What happened to the other 11 brothers? What happened to Dan, Asher, Naphtali, Gad, Simeon? What happened to them? All of them belongs to just one tribe? That's because, brothers and sisters, they're trying to get this thing right. Now, no matter what they do, God is going to confound them. He's going to confound them. Now, the children of Israel is waking up more than ever now and coming back to know and find out who they really are. We are the only people in the world, brothers and sisters, that don't know where we're from. The only people. Anybody you ask, any other nation that you ask where they're from, they can tell you where they're from. They can tell you the roots. They can tell you the heritage. We are the only people in the world that has no origin. We don't know where we're from. You think that's a mistake? It's not a mistake. That's one of the signs, brothers and sisters. That's one of the signs that the curse that God put on the children of Israel. These people, that the Jewish people, they don't have that problem. So if they don't have that problem, they can't be the people of the book, brothers and sisters. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 11. Zechariah chapter 11, we're going to read from verse 4.
This is what the Lord of my God says. Go and care for the flock that is intended for slaughter. The buyers slaughter their sheep without remorse. The sellers say, praise the Lord, now I'm rich. Even the shepherds have no compassion for them. Likewise, I will no longer have pity on the people of the land, says the Lord. I will let them fall into each other's hands and into the hands of their king. They will turn the land into a wilderness, and I will not rescue them. So I cared for the flock I intended for slaughter, the flock that was oppressed. Then I took 2 shepherd staffs and named one favor and the other union.
This will be the 2 sticks that God going to put in his hand, one for Ephraim and one for Judah, and we're going to put them back together when he returns. When he returns, brothers and sisters. So Israel is referred to as the flock of the slaughter. Who is this happening to? Who is the people that is getting shot down in the street, knelt down in their necks, choked in the street to death? Who is this happening to? Hanging trees, castrated. Who is this happening to? Is this happening to the people who are calling themselves the Jews? No. So how in the world can this be them? Luke chapter 21. We're going to read verse 20 to verse 24.
And when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then you will know that the time of its destruction has arrived. Then those in Judea must flee to the hills. Those in Jerusalem must get out, and those out in the country should not return to the city. For those will be days of God's vengeance, and the prophetic words of the scriptures will be fulfilled. How terrible it will be for pregnant women and for nursing mothers in those days. For there will be disaster in the land and great anger against this people. They will be killed by the sword or sent away as captives to all the nations of the world, and Jerusalem will be trampled down by the Gentiles until the period of the Gentiles comes to an end.
Brothers and sisters, Daniel had a dream. And he had a dream of the four winds or four kingdoms that will rule this world, this earth. Started with Nebuchadnezzar. So these rulers is referred to as the Gentile dynasty. Nebuchadnezzar, the Medes and the Persian, Greece with Alexander the Great, and Rome. And brothers and sisters, we are under the fourth kingdom right now. Still, because the fourth kingdom have to rule until Christ return. They have to rule until Christ return. Now, Christ gave this prophecy that Jerusalem will be destroyed. The people of the land will be taken captives. A lot of them will be killed by the sword. And they will be dispersed in the four corners of the earth. This happened approximately 40 years later from the time when Christ gave that prophecy. That's why when there was crying when Christ was on the cross, Christ said, don't cry for me. Cry for you and your children. Don't cry for me. Christ knew what he was talking about because Christ foresaw what was coming in the future. He saw what was coming. That's why he said, don't cry for me. Cry for you and your children. What's going to happen to y'all? And that took place in 70 AD, approximately 40 years later. So that's what happened to the children of Israel, brothers and sisters. They were dispersed in the four corners of the earth. It's only one people on this earth that prophecy fit. No one else. In the book of Daniel, God said, what happened to Israel he have not done to any other nation on the earth. What happened to Israel? The atrocity that we went through. The atrocity that we are presently still going through. No other people can claim that. So he says, Jerusalem will be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time come to end. When will that be, brothers and sisters? The return of Christ. Again, listen. Jerusalem will be trodden down of the Gentiles until Christ returns. So, brothers and sisters, who is in the land? Gentiles. They are the one that is treading it down. Christ is not here yet, so they are still treading it down, brothers and sisters. Come on, open up your minds. Get out of the emotions so you can see clearly. If the Gentiles is treading it down, that means they can't be the children of Israel, because the children of Israel are not Gentiles. So, who is really the Bible referred to as Gentile? Noah had 3 sons. Let's go back to Genesis. Genesis chapter 10. Genesis chapter 10, we're going to read from verse 1 to verse 5. When you get it, sis, go ahead.
This is the account of the families of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, 3 sons of Noah. Many children were born to them after the great flood. The descendants of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. The descendants of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Rephath, and Togarmah. The descendants of Javan were Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Rodanim. Their descendants became the sea-faring peoples that spread out to various lands, each identified by its own language clan, and national identity.
So when you go to the KJV, brothers and sisters, when you go to the KJV, hold on there.
You want me to read it? I done there.
Can you want me to read it? I can if you want to, so you don't have to move.
It's a simple move. It's all right.
Go ahead.
Read
it. Yeah.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog, and Madai and Javan, and Tubal and Meshach and Tiras.
So Gomer, Magog, we have Magog, present day brothers and sisters. What is Gog and Magog? That's Russia. Russia, brother, is Magog. Who they come out of? Japheth. Right? These are Japhites. Go ahead.
And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Rephath, and Togarmah.
So the Ashkenaz brothers and sisters, remember we're still talking about the children of Japheth. Ashkenaz, most of these people over there, brothers and sisters, they are called Ashkenazi Jews. But this man, Dr. Brown, he's trying to say, oh, because if it says Ashkenaz, it is not talking about. That's a lie from the pit of hell, brothers and sisters. These are the descendants of Ashkenaz. That's why they refer to them as Ashkenazi Jews. So the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, they come from Japheth, not Shem, not Abraham, not the children of Israel, brothers and sisters. They came from Ashkenaz. Are we going to see who we refer to the children of Japhet? Go ahead, sis.
And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations.
These were the isles of the who? The Gentiles divided in their land. So these were the Gentiles, because the children of Ham was not referred to as Gentiles. The children of Shem were not referred to as Gentiles. When you read the descendants of Noah, the only one actually, and the word Gentiles is on, is the children of Japheth. And we have Ashkenaz in there. We have Magog, we have Gomer, Madai, Javan. All of these are Slavic people, brothers and sisters. We have Turkey, Iran, Russia. Those are Slavic peoples. So these are the people that is running around calling themselves the Jews today. They're Slavic people. They're Russian converts. They're converts that converted to Judaism. That's why their religion is Judaism. There's nothing as Judaism in the Bible. God did not give us no religion, Judaism, in the Bible. They come up with this. So if you are the children of Israel, why do you have to convert to Judaism? Why do you have to convert to something that you are? You are the children of Israel. Why are you converting to Judaism? That's because they're not the children of Israel, brothers and sisters. They are from the seed of Japheth. Let's go to Ham. We just gave you Japheth. Let's go to Ham. We're going to read from verse 8 to verse 11. Stay in the KJV.
I was just about to say, I'm going to stay there. Starting at 8. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Asher, and builded Nineveh, and the city of Rehoboth, and Calais.
So we see from Nimrod, he started the rulership. Nimrod. Nimrod is from the seed of Ham, right? Because all of Noah's sons had a chance to rule the world, right? All of them had a chance to rule the world. All of them had a chance to rule, to carry that banner. We started with Nimrod, which is from Ham, one of Noah's sons, right? Let's go to Genesis chapter 11. Now we're going to start reading from verse 10. We're going to read 10 and 11 and 27 to 32. So we read about Japheth. We know that Ashkenaz came out of Japheth. We read about Ham, who came Nimrod. Now we're reading about Shem. Okay, let's go ahead.
Staying KJV here too.
Yeah.
These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begot Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived after he begot Arphaxad 500 years and begot sons and daughters. 27. These are the generations of Terah. Terah begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran begot Lot.
So now out of Shem, brothers and sisters, we got Father Abraham. These people did not come out of Father Abraham. They came out of Father Japheth. So out of Terah is Abraham's father, right? And we have, these are the generation of Terah, which is Abraham's father. Terah begot Abraham, well, it's Abram, Nahor, Haran, and Haran begot Lot. Lot is Abraham's nephew, that same guy that was in Sodom and Gomorrah when Abraham was contending with Jesus, asking him, would you destroy the city? Why was he doing that? Because he knew his family was in there. He knew his family was there. Lot, his wife, their kids was there. So that's Lot, and his father Haran died. So Abraham took his nephew under his wing and raised him as a son. Right? Go ahead, sis.
28. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees or Chaldees. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. But Sarai was barren, she had no children, she had no child. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan, and they came into unto Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran.
So again, brothers and sisters, we see that Father Abraham came from the lineage of Shem, not Ham, not Japheth. The people who call themselves the Jews, again, they came from Japheth. So they cannot be the children of Israel. They cannot be that because they're not the same people. Let's go again to 2 Kings. 2 Kings 24. We're going to read 1 to 5 and 10 to 20. You get it? I'm ready when you're ready.
In the days of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his servant 3 years. Then he turned and rebelled against him. And the Lord sent against him bands of the Chaldees, and bands of the Syrians, and bands of the Moabites, and bands of the children of Ammon, and sent them against Judah to destroy it, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by his servants, the prophets. Surely at the commandment of the Lord came this upon Judah, to remove them out of his sight, for the sins of Manasseh, according to all that he did, and also for the innocent blood that he shed, for he filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, which the Lord would not pardon. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah?
Verse 10.
At that time, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem, and the city was besieged. And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city, and his servants did besiege it. And Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother and his servants, and his princes and his officers, and the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign. And he carried out thence all the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house, and put in pieces all the vessels of gold which Solomon, king of Israel, had made in the temple of the Lord, as the Lord had said. And he carried away all Jerusalem, and all the princes, and all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths. None remained, save the poorest sort of the people of the land.
So, the dream that Daniel had with these 4 dynasties, Nebuchadnezzar was the first Gentile ruler that ruled the whole world unopposed. Nebuchadnezzar was the first Gentile ruler to rule the whole world. That began the Gentile dynasty, because at this time, Ham has failed. The children of Israel has failed, because the children of Israel started with Moses, right? And they failed. They dropped the banner. So now the Gentile dynasty, now is ruling, starting with Nebuchadnezzar. So from Nebuchadnezzar until Christ returns, the Gentile dynasty is ruling. Go ahead.
15. And he carried away Jehoiakim to Babylon, and the king's mother, and the king's wives, and his officers, and the mighty of the land, those carried into captivity from Jerusalem to Babylon. And all the men of might, even 7,000, and craftsmen and smiths, and 1,000, all that were strong and apt for war, even them the king of Babylon brought captive to Babylon. The king of Babylon made Mattaniah, his father's brother, king in his stead, and changed his name to Zedekiah. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah and Libnah. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that Jehoiakim had done. For through the anger of the Lord it came to pass in Jerusalem and Judah, until he had cast them out from his presence, that Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon.
And from there they was going where? Downhill. The children of Israel. That's why God gave now the world to who? The next rulership that was in the dream of Daniel. So which is started with Nebuchadnezzar, the Gentile dynasty. That's where Daniel's vision came into play. Right? So go to Second Kings 25 now. Now we're going to read from verse 1.
And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his hosts against Jerusalem, had pitched against it, and they built forts against it round about. And the city was besieged unto the 11th year of King Zedekiah. And on the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine prevailed in the city, and there was no bread for the people of the land. And the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled by night by the way of the gate between 2 walls, which is by the king's garden. Now the Chaldees were against the city around about, And the king went the way toward the plain. And the army of the Chaldees pursued after the king and overtook him in the plains of Jericho, and all his army was scattered from him. So they took the king and brought him up to the king of Babylon, to Riblah, and they gave judgment upon him. And they slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, and put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and bound him with fetters of brass, and carried them to Babylon.
So Zedekiah was the last king of Judah. Hoshea was the last king of Samaria. Because remember, after King Solomon's reign, the kingdom split in two. Prior to King Solomon, during King Solomon's reign, Israel was united. But after King Solomon's reign, God split the kingdom in two because of the atrocity that King Solomon did. King Solomon was warned multiple times by God about these women that he had to stop, and he refused to stop. So in his old age, what did King Solomon did? He started building pagan shrines to these women's gods. So for this atrocity, for disobeying God, God split the kingdom in two. So we had the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. The northern kingdom was run, the last king was Hoshea, and they went into captivity by the king of Assyria. Take them into captivity, they never returned. Then we had the king of the Judah that went out, and when they came back to build the second temple prior to Jesus coming. So that's the three tribes that Christ left there when he died: Benjamin, Levi, and Judah. And those are the ones that went into captivity in 70 AD. Right? But this is when Nebuchadnezzar took down Zedekiah, carried him into captivity. That was it. That was it. So Nebuchadnezzar began the reign of the Gentile dynasty. And we're still under the rulership of the Gentile dynasty. Present, Rome is, they say all road leads to Rome. It actually leads to Rome. This Western world is influenced by Rome. Take note, brothers and sisters. Go ahead, sis.
8. And in the 5th month, on the 7th day of the month, which is the 19th year of King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came Zebuzaradan, captain of the guard, a servant of the king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem. And he burnt the house of the Lord, and the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem, and every great man's house burnt he with fire. And all the army of the Chaldees that were with the captain of the guard brake down the walls of Jerusalem round about. Now the rest of the people that were left in the city, and the fugitives that fell away to the king of Babylon, with the remnant of the multitude, did Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carry away.
So these were the ones that was carried away, brothers and sisters, and they ended the reign of Israel until when Christ was coming and he entreated Cyrus to allow the children of Israel to come back and to build the second temple. So when he comes, he will have a temple to dwell in. So who came back? Benjamin, Levi again, and Judah. So those were the three tribes that was there when Christ died, and they got took down in 70 AD. So the last, when King Solomon's temple that was taken down by Nebuchadnezzar, Zedekiah was the last king of the southern kingdom, and Hoshea was the last king of the northern kingdom. That was it for the reign of Israel. The Gentile dynasty was doing it. So it says Jerusalem will be trodden down of the Gentiles until Christ return, brothers and sisters. It's still, Jerusalem today is running by the Gentiles, not Israel. Israel is not in their home. Israel is still carried away captive, because the Bible tells you when Christ returns, he is the one that's going to gather Israel from the four corners of the earth and take them back to their land. So who is in the land? Impostors is in the land. Let's go to Daniel. Daniel chapter 2. And we're going to read from verse 1.
And in the 2nd year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians, and the astrologers and sorcerers, and the Chaldeans, for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants thy dream, and we will show the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me. If ye will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. But if ye show the dream and the interpretation thereof, ye shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore show me the dream and the interpretation thereof. They answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation of it. The king answered and said, I know of certainty that ye would gain the time, because ye see the thing is gone from me. But if you will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you. For ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me, till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I will know that ye can show me the interpretation thereof. The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore there is no king, lord, nor ruler that asks such things of any magician or astrologer or Chaldean.
And he's correct, because Nebuchadnezzar, he didn't even remember the dream. So he's asking them, I want you to tell me my dream and then tell me the interpretation. I thought usually somebody will go to somebody and tell them what they dream, and then the person will tell them, give them an interpretation of what they say. But Nebuchadnezzar, he didn't even remember what he dreamed. So he's asking them, that's why he said, it's not a man on earth that can do this. Like, what are you asking? You asking us to remember what you dream and then tell you the interpretation? But there is a man that could have done it, and he did. Go ahead, brother. Brother, sister.
And it's a rare thing that the king required, and there is none other that can show it before the king, except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh. For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arioch, the king of the king's guard, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, why is the decree so hasty from the king? Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, that he would show the king the interpretation.
So look at this bold act of Brother Daniel. Look at this bold act. Hey, don't slay them. Give me some time and I will come back to you. Don't slay them. Just hold off this thing that you got going on, this massacre that you have going on. Just hold it off for a little while and I will get back to you. So he granted him his request. Go ahead.
Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and and Azariah, his companions.
So this is Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, a bad Negro. Go ahead.
And they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in night vision. Then Daniel blessed the king, blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding.
And then people don't realize that God is in the midst of everything, whether good or bad. People don't believe this. People think that everything bad is Satan, but they don't realize that Satan himself is employed by God. Satan is employed by God. Nothing moves unless God said move. Nothing, brothers and sisters. So he said, and was the secret revealed unto Daniel? And he said, and he changed the time, this is God, and the season, he removed kings and set up kings. So even like our president the president that we have today, you can vote all you want. Whoever God wants to be in that seat, that's who we're going to put in that seat. No matter where you vote. No matter where you vote. Your vote don't count because God is the one that's doing his work. If God wants you there to carry out his mission, he's going to put you there. People think that they're getting seats on their own. Nope. Just like Nebuchadnezzar. Who set up Nebuchadnezzar? God. Who set up Cyrus? God. Who set up Darius? God did. He's the one that set up all of these kings. He put them there to do his job, and when he finished with them, when they fulfill his prophecy, he take them down and put up somebody else to continue. That's the God that we're dealing with, brothers and sisters. Go ahead, sis.
And he revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth within him. I thank thee and praise thee, O thou God of my fathers, who hast given me wisdom and might, and hast made known unto me now what we desired of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus unto him, Destroy not the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found a man of the captives of Judah that will make known unto the king the interpretation. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen, and the interpretation thereof?
So Belteshazzar is Daniel because the king, he gave Daniel that name, Belteshazzar, right? Go ahead.
Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, The secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king. But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets, and make it known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed. What should come to pass hereafter? And he that revealeth secrets make it known to thee what shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for my wisdom, and I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet of part iron and part of clay.
So this is the vision that Daniel saw with this Nebuchadnezzar saw with this great statue. And what Nebuchadnezzar saw was the ruling of the Gentile dynasty, starting with him. That's what Nebuchadnezzar saw. So the feet that was made partly iron and partly clay, that will be destroyed by the king. Who is that king? Christ. When will that happen? When he returns. So until he returns, we're still under the Gentile dynasty, brothers and sisters. We're still under the Gentile dynasty because the feet has not been crushed yet. Go ahead.
Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them, and the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth.
And this stone is who? This stone is Christ, brothers and sisters. This is the stone that smote the image and break it and scatter it. And he is the one that filled the earth, Christ. Go ahead.
This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength and glory. And whosoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the heaven, hath he given into thine hand, and had made thee ruler over them all. Thou art his head of gold.
Thou art this head of gold from the statue that he saw in his dream. So who is the one giving Nebuchadnezzar this world to run, his dynasty? God is the one that's doing it. Christ is the one that's doing it. Christ is the one that set him up. That's why when we read earlier, he said, the God is the one that set up kings and take them down. He set up rulers and take them down. So who set up Nebuchadnezzar? God is the one that put him up there. He's the one that put him there. Go ahead, sis. Oh, that was it. Your brothers and sisters, the Gentiles that is treading down Jerusalem until Christ's return is not the people of the land. The people of the land were scattered in slavery, in captivity, and they are still scattered up till this day, brothers and sisters. They will not return until Christ returns. Because Christ is the one who is going to send his angel to gather them from the four corners of the earth. And he's going to take them back to the land, brothers and sisters, after he weed them out in the wilderness. Because they have to go through the wilderness just like in the days of Moses, prior to them going into the land. They have to go through the wilderness. They have to go through the iron rod. The iron rod is in the wilderness, and they have to pass through that iron rod prior to them going into that land. So we're not flying off to heaven, brothers and sisters. We're not flying off to heaven. We are going back to our land that we were taken from. We didn't come from heaven. We came from Jerusalem. That's where our ancestors came from. Not heaven, Jerusalem. There's an old saying, brothers and sisters. A well-organized lie will trump a disorganized truth any day. So what we are hearing, brothers and sisters, for centuries, for years, are lies concerning who we are. All of it is lies. They tell us, they give us history, but that's not our history. That's their history. That's not our history. That's their history they're giving us, brothers and sisters. That's why it's not right. That's why it's not accurate. That's why it's full of holes. That's why it's full of flaws, brothers and sisters. Because they're refusing to tell we who we are. But according to these Jewish people, they're saying that they never lost their heritage, they never lost their language, they never lost their custom. How can that be when the Bible is saying something different, totally different? How can it be? If you go into slavery, children are being born into slavery. They're going to lose their original language because they've been born in foreign lands that don't belong to them. So how can they keep their foreign, even Spanish people that live from Puerto Rico and things and can't come over here? After a while, they start speaking English, not Spanish, because they go into school among English speaking people. So eventually, the Spanish is going to dwindle away unless they have parents that will stick to them and let them hold it. But the majority of people, when they come over in these lands, brothers and sisters, they lose their origin. They lose their original language because now you got to conform to where you at. So if they was not, how can these people say that they are the people? They can't be the people, brothers and sisters. These people go to school tirelessly to learn to speak Yiddish. It's not even Hebrew. It's Yiddish, broken, whatever they call it. But it's not Hebrew, it's Yiddish. And they try so hard because if you're going to try to perpetrate to being someone, you're going to learn what they are, what they eat, how did they live, how did they sleep, how did they worship their God. You have to learn about that person so you can mimic that person. So that's what they did. That's what they did. So now the whole world is going along with the okie doke, is believing that these people are the people of the land. But yet, cancer, skin cancer is killing them people off like crazy. Like, what is going on? How can you be the people of the land and you can't even tolerate the atmosphere of the land, the climate of the land? Who does that? God is meticulous in what he does. He sends particular people in different regions. You know why he sent them there? From the Tower of Babel in the book of Genesis, he sent the different sons of Noah, their descendants, into different regions of the world, because that's where they will survive, brothers and sisters. That's where they will survive. So the children of Japheth, where did he send them? He sent them into Europe and these places that is cold and snow. He didn't leave them in the hot climate because they're non-melanated people. That's why if the people of the European are white, they have to be careful with themselves being in the sun for a long period of time because they can actually get skin cancer. This is something that is actually true. They can get skin cancer. Why is it that Black people can be in the sun for hours at a time and that don't happen to them? Because they are melanated people. And the melanated people, we need the sun. We need the sun. That's why when we stay out of the sun, that's why a lot of our people will end up getting sick with cancer and things. Because we are staying away from the very essence of the thing that we need in order to survive. The sun, we need it. Melanated people needs the sun. Non-melanated people, they have to be careful staying in the sun so long because they can actually get skin cancer. The people of the land, brothers and sisters, are the Boxwood people, the Negroes, the people who they call in niggers. Those are the people of the land. Hitler said something. If you tell a big enough lie and tell it frequently enough, it will be believed. And that is a true saying, brothers and sisters. The people who are telling the lie, they will eventually believe the lie that they're telling. They will actually believe it. They try so hard to be the people of the land. So hard. They're trying to be the people of the land. They are not the people of the land. The Negroes, the people who come over here in slavery, and those slave ships, they are the people of the land. The children of Israel. Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come,
thy will be done in earth,
thy will be done in earth,
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread,
Give us this day our daily bread,
and forgive us of our debts,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors,
as we forgive our debtors.
and lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
Thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
power,
and the power,
and the glory.
and the glory,
In Jesus' precious name, amen.
forever in Jesus' name, amen.
May the words of our mouth and the meditation of our heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our rock and our redeemer. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading, the hearing, and the doing of his word. In Jesus' name, amen. Brothers and sisters, sis, y'all have anything to add? Y'all have anything you want to say?
No.
Brothers and sisters, we're Israel, the Lord's vineyard. My name is Brother Moses. We have Sister Kelly. We have Sister Shanique on. We thank you for your time. Please don't forget to like, share, and again, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Like and share, and don't forget to subscribe. And also comment on the videos. But please, brothers and sisters, be respectful. Any disrespectful thing will be deleted. Just comment. Leave your comment. Leave your message. Whatever you want to add. But just be respectful. Because other people will be reading it also, you know. So we have to be respectful. Again, we thank you for your time, and we'll see you again on the next. This is the Jewish Dilemma. This is part 1. And next week, if God's willing, we're going to have part 2. And we see you on the next go round.